Join us on the CEO's Laundry and discover the hidden reality of today's top CEOs. Each episode is an inspiring coaching session where a CEO gains insight and clarity to overcome personal, business, or leadership challenges. Learn to reflect and grow with the behind the scenes of these successful leaders. Hi, Jay. Hi, Kat. How are you feeling?
Good, thanks. You?
I'm good, thanks. So before we have this conversation together, I ask you to reflect on the challenge that you have. It can be personal challenge, professional challenge, a goal, something you would like to work on, something that would be worth being coached through. So I'm open to listen to what did you discuss, what do you have in mind for today?
Should I kick off, Jay?
Yeah, go on. I was going to say,
Yeah.
Kat, do you want to go first?
So we've both got a challenge each, and they're very different. So mine is around stepping away from the day-to-day. I'm finding it hard as the co-founder of a business to step away and grow beyond that kind of day-to-day operations management. Even though there's so many parts to my role, I'm just finding that a little bit challenging. And I've always loved line managing people, and people are and always will be my absolute priority. But I think in order for me to grow and to progress, I need to maybe give away a little bit of that responsibility and also be able to let go. That is challenging in a small business anyway, but I do feel a little bit challenged in terms of how I progress and expand beyond what I'm doing currently.
Okay, thank you for voicing that.
Yeah,
Jay.
and then on my side, sorry, I was speaking over you, Kévin. On my side, I would say the challenge that I want to focus on is the not allowing the losses to wear on my mind too much. So you obviously have the wins that you have, but then just not allowing those losses to wear on my mind so much. With regards to running the business, and a large majority of my role is bringing in revenue. And I think sometimes if things don't go my way, or they go my way halfway and then change, it's just not allowing that to affect me so much.
Okay. Is it okay if we do a quick exercise together?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. If you put that aside, so what Kat you just mentioned and what Jay you just mentioned, Kat, what do you think Jay need the most? If Jay could have a one-on-one coaching conversation with me, with any other one, why do you think it could benefit him?
I think,
and not voicing out right now, but reflecting on your own and writing that on your phone right now. And Jay, same question for you. If you put what Kat mentioned aside, what do you think would be worth being coached on or work on? So what do you see from each other? Can you send that to each other by text so that you're going to read out loud what the other one wrote for you?
That's so funny.
Do you want to start, Kat?
It's so,
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So Jay has said patience on the journey. So to have patience on within our journey.
Yeah. And then Kat has pretty much said very similar. She's put to worry less and enjoy the ride. Look at the successes. It's so funny. How are we both going to say the same thing?
We're such different people as well, but we've got the same worry. It's funny.
How much do you think it's true?
Very true.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. That's how they were down.
Okay. So in the end, it comes back to the same challenge that you have.
Yeah.
All right. Kat, can I challenge you?
Sure.
You say that one of your goals would be to step away from the day-to-day. because that's a little bit challenging and you need to give away a little bit of responsibilities.
Yeah.
I would love you to own that fully.
Okay.
Because you say that it's a little bit challenging and that you would like to give away a little bit of responsibilities. How would the story be different if your goal is to step away from the day-to-day and that's challenging and you don't need to give away a little bit of responsibilities, but you want to give away responsibilities?
Yeah. So not the need, but the want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
What's different in that for you?
It feels a bit more empowering to be able to want to do that, and also not to focus on, I think there's an element of having too much control or wanting too much control from my side anyway. There is another challenge, which is we are a small team, and I don't want to overwhelm people, and also there are certain tasks that perhaps we don't have people that could take over some of those responsibilities. So I think that's where that little bit comes in, but happy to explore that. But the difference of saying need and want, and I know that is something that I challenge myself with actually, and the want just makes it feel a bit more empowering, and that it's not something that I'm forced to do, but actually something that I'm happy to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And in what you say, there is also something more empowering that can come, is that it's not a bit more empowering. It is more empowering.
Yeah.
How much do you want it if you're true to yourself? How much do you want to give away responsibilities? There is no right or wrong answer to that. It can be 0, it's right. It can be 100, it's right.
I definitely want to do it. So if we're going from 1 to 100, 90, because I believe it will help me to feel that I'm progressing. I think it will help others to feel that they're gaining additional responsibility, and yeah, so it's definitely a big want.
Okay. Do you have a specific task in mind, or a specific area?
There's actually quite a few areas, so it will be anything from being heavily involved in the output of our client success team to some of the more administrative tasks. I mean, it spans quite a large proportion of tasks.
Okay. Have you already discussed together on how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the challenges that we come back to are often around team size and the level of workload that also people have.
Mm-hmm.
And that will always play on my mind, because I want to make sure that our team are not overworked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you discussed that with the team?
Yes. So for the people that I line manage, but also we have a very open dialogue with the team. We have a team meeting every day. And when we're in the office twice a week, we talk in person quite openly around any challenges that I might have, that Jay might have, so that they're aware of, what we're dealing with as humans, as well as business leaders.
Okay. What did the team say about it?
They are, so some of the slightly more senior team are very willing to take additional tasks on. And so I think there is a desire, but also not wanting to add too much to their own workload.
Okay. So what has prevented you from moving to the idea to actually doing it so far? What has prevented you from taking the action?
There are certain tasks that we need to see consistently improve. And until we see that, it's very hard to be able to hand over. So if we were to make a mistake, or if we are contracted to a certain service level with a client and we don't deliver on that particular level, then the repercussions of that could be quite huge. So there is a kind of relationship management perspective there as well. And again, we are a small team, so if we do decide to grow and perhaps hire, another senior member of staff, that is in our roadmap, or we're discussing that as part of our roadmap, then that will help me to be able to hand over some of those tasks, but we're not necessarily at that point as yet.
Okay. What makes the situation being the point?
So ending our financial year on a high, which we will, I'm confident, and being able to plan for the next year and look at the headcount that we need. The beauty of our business is that we have our own proprietary technology that fuels a lot of the way that we work from an automation perspective. So as we continue to develop that will enable some of the more manual tasks to disappear or become less frequent. So I can see things changing, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay. In your mind, when do you see yourself being there?
I would say towards the end of the year, I would hope.
Okay. Jay, what's your view on this?
Kat suffers from it more than I do. Yeah, it's frustrating, but it's the only confidence I have in all of this is that I know, because we just moan about to each other about it, because you're co-founders, but the only confidence I have is that I know, regardless of everything she's saying right now, she never lets her work rate drop. Because with other people, I'd be nervous that they were not pissed off, but they had a challenge with something, and then their work rate would drop because they've got a challenge with it. But with Kat, her work rate stays consistent, even though it's like, this isn't ideal. And I'd say vice versa as well. But that was a whole bunch of rambled thoughts. But yeah, that's what I think.
Love them. Thank you. When did you start a business?
2019.
2019. Okay. So it's 4 years old. So it's not a startup anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Until recently, Slack only just stopped calling itself a startup, and that went public. So I just
Yeah. I'm used to work with CEOs who are between 3 to 6 years in their business, in their role. And that's one of the most painful challenge. It's that you're running a company, you're not running a startup anymore.
Yeah.
There's part of the ego that likes the startup and doesn't like the company stuff. Like Sims corporate, like, no, don't like that. Don't like that. It's boring. So you're in a position right now at 4 years where radical shift can happen that come from you and your role within the company, like who you are being as a human in the company. As I hear that you love each other first. That's great to see. That's great to feel. You love working with each other. That's great to see, great to feel. You're both you have a drive, you have an energy, you're both confident about the company and what you're doing and how you have divided your responsibilities so far. I think you've found a good balance. I can feel that. Yet it comes to a point where it's about creating yourself and creating your future self within the company.
Yeah.
What I hear, and from what you mentioned, Kat, is, and nothing bad about what I'm going to say, it's a victim mindset of there's all those things happening and so much on my shoulders. And so I cannot do the things that I want to do because I'm complying with what is happening. I'm dealing with what is happening. The pitfall right now is to keep running the business like this. And that it requires an effort from within to take another set of risk. And you didn't have much to lose when you started. Right now, you're not playing with the same cards anymore. So you feel like you have something to lose right now, and you're taking everything more seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Ideally, both of you, where would you love to see yourself in the company 1 to 2 years from now? Imagine that we have a conversation in February 2025. Yeah, let's do it 2 years from now. We have a conversation again. We haven't talked for 2 years. And asking to take a minute to reflect on that for yourself and to let your heart speak, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you think it's too big, doesn't matter. If you simply let your heart speak for 1 minute. And we imagine that we are 2 years in the future, so you use the present tense. Can you describe me where you at, what you're doing, what you enjoy?
I am traveling more. I am spending lots more time with clients. I have a general manager or managing director that is running an amazing team, continues to run an amazing team. And I am more fulfilled, more empowered, and happier about the progress that we have made.
What people know about you in the company? Why do they come to you in the company? Like, what are you known for in the company?
The ability, I'm known for the ability to grow a business, to be a fantastic leader, to resonate with people, to build client relationships, and ultimately to run a successful business that's making a lot of money.
Okay.
I like the
What
last point.
make them feel that you are a fantastic leader?
So the leadership qualities that I like to think I have now are empathy, passion, drive, energy, and the ability to navigate lots of different challenging situations, and to do that, I hope, positively. Especially maybe Jay and I have a little rant, but I think largely positively. And honesty. I think honesty plays a huge part, being able to recognize your own traits, be that positively or negatively, and be open about those, being able to have really honest conversations. There's quite a lot in there.
Okay. And what's the main shift you've operated in the past 2 years to be the leader that you are today?
I have been able to recognize that it is a journey and that I'm able to enjoy this journey and process, to talk openly about the challenges and, you know, the elements that are hard, but to come out and be extremely happy with where I've come to in those past 2 years.
Okay. Thank you, Kat. What about you, Jay? Where are you at right now? What do you do in the company?
Board. Somewhere on the board, doing something like that. Not bored, BORED. But I'd be championing the company from a sales perspective, but from a macro sales perspective. So the ability to focus on those larger clients and keep that coming in for the company, but not from a perspective where people are needing me to be in any kind of leadership capacity. I don't think. I think ideally I am doing what I'm good at, which is sales and public speaking, and using those two tools to basically drive revenue towards the business, and allowing people that are much more intelligent than Kat and I to actually run the. I said this again today. I need to stop saying Kat and I, more intelligent than me, to run the actual outworking of the stuff that we sell. That's where I am.
Okay. So I understand that you decided to focus more and more on what you're good at and what you love doing over the past 2 years. Okay. What is the challenge that you had to overcome in the past 2 years to get to that place?
I think the biggest one, the challenge that I overcome, is the ability to be a steady sailor, to teach, to lead in a way that shows the team, shows Kat how we can like weather these storms while still being risk takers. Yeah, having a team full of steady sailors is the ultimate for me, I think.
Okay. Kat, what's one thing you can do to help Jay from what he mentioned in our conversation today?
I think I can encourage the viewing of the success and support when, you know, continue to support when, Jay, you're feeling, if you have these worries, to just be able to sit down and take a step back and look at what we've achieved so far, because it's so huge. And even just having this conversation now, and we don't get as much time to reflect. And so I think having that ability to just sit and reflect with Jay, and really hone in on the successes and look at how far we've come in such a short space of time, and the fact that we are a profitable business, you know, that's such a huge thing to have at this stage of our business.
Okay. What's one practical step you can take?
To put in a regular slot, and that is not a meeting or, you know, a work session for half an hour or a virtual thing, where we just take ourselves away and we just reflect on the good stuff. And I can do that as of now.
Okay, amazing. Jay, what's one thing that you can help Kat with from what you mentioned today?
There's actually two. So the first one is, as any typical male, anytime she comes with a problem, with like a challenge, I'm like, how can I solve it within the next 30 seconds? And sometimes, a large percentage of the time, you just want to talk. You're just like, I just want to talk to you. Like, I don't want you to try and solve it. So I think the first thing is just being better at I think I'm quite good at listening, but I think being better at listening without trying to come up with a solution. Because even when every time you're talking to me, all I can hear is, okay, so if we did this and and I'm just like, I'm like trying to strategize and in my head, I'm like, she just wants to talk, like just talk. The same as I do. Like, I just want to talk. Like, I just want to just ramble and moan sometimes. Not that you're moaning, but that's what I want to do sometimes. And I think the first one would be that, just being able to be an active listener without trying to solve. And then the second practical thing I could do is being on the journey from a patient's perspective, if that makes sense. In my head, it sounds different, but basically, because we're both having to be patient, but for different things, for similar things in some ways, but I don't, because what Kat's feeling like, because I'm already traveling, I'm already like, I'm doing a lot of these things, so I don't have to be patient for that, because like I have to go and meet the clients. So I'm doing, so it's what she wants to be freed up to do, I already get to do. So then sometimes I'm like, but bro, would like, and I think it's looking and going, well, actually, let me to understand why she's feeling like that, and to be patient with her on that. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know if I answered your question, but it's what came out of my mouth. So what you get.
You expanded on the question. So that's good. And I hear that you're both doing good and great in some areas. And there is always something we can do even better. So you're not in a position where you like it's painful. You're not in a position where you have to solve deep problems. You're in a position where you can take some leaps towards something even greater. And you both mention what you mentioned in how you can help each other. It's on the way you operate and communicate with each other, and being able to put yourself in the shoes of the other one, because Kat, you mentioned that it's understand more the drive, the vision, the pushes from Jay, etc., and being able to think through his mind. And Jay, you mentioned the same thing through active listening and empathy, being able to put yourself in Kat's mind and listen to her and understand what is happening from her perspective. And in that, you can create a greater way of working and running the team and everything else. It comes back to that relationship that you have. And as you mentioned, slowing down, sometimes reflecting. It's those moments that are painful when you're at high speed. It's painful to slow down, painful to say like, hey, let's just talk about something else for a moment. It's like, yeah, but we have this and this and this and this. But yet after this time, there is something amazing that is created. Kat, what's your one takeaway from this conversation? And then Jay.
Need a bit more time to just reflect. And we talk all the time, we're super open, we've got an amazing relationship, but we just need to be proud and enjoy, and just take a bit of time to look at how well we're doing.
Okay.
Literally exactly the same. I would say exactly the same. And yeah, contentment in the contentment and the attention. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my forehead. Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. Thank you. How do you feel right now?
Good, man. I feel like I went to a
Good, that was
therapy
great.
session.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
Amazing. Thank you very much.